Hello, party people. I'm celebrating the release of Lichess quote-unquote pools by trying to successfully run through all of them in one recording. And I say quote-unquote pools because they don't have their own separate rating, but I love this change. I am a big fan of providing this option to players to get auto-paired games with the correct colors against people around your rating in sort of the normal standardized kind of time controls, as opposed to having to deal with people seeking, I want to play a 10+7 game only as white, only on Tuesdays against your mom. And it's like, I think it gets kind of out of control, and I don't think it does a great job for chess either. Okay. Whoa. That's legit. Okay, I'm just gonna play a6. I don't know what happens if I take on b2 and he goes knight b5. Maybe I had knight d5, so it wasn't anything, but I'm gonna try and nab this guy. I'm gonna take it. Knight g5 doesn't appear to be working. Ooh, he's got fancy stuff though. All right, d4 is hanging. Oh, he's so slick. I didn't see that. Okay, I'm gonna avoid knight a4. Oh, this is getting ugly. Oh dear. I'm going deep. Do I have to do that? It feels not good if I do. All right. We're doing it. We're doing it. Welcome to Bullet. Welcome to Bullet, people. This is Sparta. How do I get my pieces out? I'm going to go... Geez, I don't even know. Queen c7, b5, bishop b7. I'm not going to open all the lines. Wow, this guy's an animal. A true, unadulterated animal. You know, he's weakening all his stuff too, though. Can't take on h3. Or he's going to do that. That's fine. Just gonna boop him here. And get in. Problem is I don't have any time. Let's go here. I don't know what that does. Yeah. You better trade queens, pal. Oh god, yes. Oh yes, I am the greatest. Okay, that was super lucky. Flag the guy. I think I had like 5 seconds when he had 17 seconds or something really dumb. On to 2+1. We did it. I didn't even deserve to win that game. It's really hard commenting on Bullet games. I don't know how people do it. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I think it, for people who just want to play 3-0 games over and over again. I mean, most people come on to Lichess and they just want to play some time control over and over again until they get sick of playing chess. And if you like doing that, I think the easiest way is to just have an interface like this. And if you want to do some really sort of unusual custom seek, then just toss it out, you know, in the custom option. So I'm pretty happy about this, but we'll see how it's received by everyone else. Of course, you can just use the standard lobby here if you like, but whatevs. I got a new mic. Oh, I went to the lobby. I got a new mic. I hope that it sounds better than my old mic. For whatever reason, my old mic, I checked all my XSplit settings, and I could not, for the life of me, figure out what the heck was going on, and it just sounded hot, a little scratchy. So I just bought a new mic, and it's a slightly better mic. It's an upgrade, and I got a separate pop filter. My old mic just had the pop filter built in, and this one I just bought like a legit pop filter and put it on here. So I'm hoping that this sounds better I tested it. It seems like it seemed like it sounded pretty good, but we'll see. So let me know what you think, if it needs to be turned up a little, if it needs to be turned down a little, if you'd like me to put it on mute, etc. Let me know. Okay, took a while to get a 2-1 game. Not the most popular time control in the world. I think it's in the pool because it's the longest time control you can play that's still technically a bullet game. We got a ruby on our hands here against kind of blue. Kind of boo. Okay, that's a handle for you. And I'm gonna go b6, bishop b7. I think my position will be very comfortable. I have to adjust to playing 2+1. It's just, I mean, this is not a time control that you normally play, and I don't want to take that. So I can win it somehow. I don't think. Does that lose a pawn? Takes queen d5. Yeah, we'll try that. Bro. G2, man. Oh, he has f4. Balls. Okay, that's easy enough. I think after f4, I would have knight g4 with good counterplay anyway, but okay. 2+1 was not a time control that I was super excited about playing anyway. So I kind of feel like it should be like the hyper bullet, like 30 seconds and 1-0 or something else, but all right. 3-minute game against Kaspaloco. Knight f to d7. Probably not the best move. I think maybe I'll go d3 here. I think his setup makes a little less sense when I'm not particularly scared of him sacking a pawn with f4. If he wanted to do that, this knight should really be all the way over here, so. d4 now, perhaps? Probably. This is quite a position. I feel like white is much better here. These are not well-placed pieces, and this seems a little flimsy, but what do I know? Can I just really go for it here? He takes, knight f5, probably bishop f2. If he takes on f4, I will likely take with the bishop. Taking on f4 seems pretty ill-advised because of how weak d6 is. Wow. Arrow extravaganza. Must be Mr. Fancy Pantsy, I see. This feels like I'm doing something wrong. I mean, none of this feels correct at all, but this is one of those games where I'd be interested to analyze it, but I think I would also be very sad at myself if I did. So he wanted me to go like something like takes on e5, takes on e5, takes on e5, knight g4. And he's going to bag this back. He's hitting my bishop on e3, etc. So I'm just playing a useful improving move that stops this take. Oh. Okay, maybe now I'll take. He's not particularly well placed for an opening of the game. So his idea is if I took on e4 before, then h3 is hanging. I want to try and hold everything with e6. What I really want to do is go e6. Let's say like knight b6 and then knight d5 or something. After c takes, and I have these pawns here. But this is the kind of crap that makes me flag in blitz games. Okay, well let's play e6 first. I don't know if it's better, but my idea is to take on f8 and force him to put a piece he doesn't really want to put on f8 instead of the knight. I mean, he's obviously going to win this pawn back at some point, but can I try and keep it somehow? I don't think so. Oh my god, I don't have any time. Why, Tony? Why? I'll go b3. This thing, I'm down a pawn, but this thing is not going to live, so. On rook a to d8, I can even take on d8 if I want, but I'll probably just play queen c2. The hell is that? Okay, let's chuck in this move first. He's somehow gotten himself into a little bit of time trouble himself. He can take here if he wants. I don't believe in it literally at all. In fact, I'll pre-move this. I'll just go bishop back to g2 and got no time is the problem. Yeah. All right. These are sloppy games so far. Here's where stuff starts to get pretty real. It's like, yeah, I'm halfway through the pool after I finish this game. Except all of this is going to take like 2 hours. Morty's sleeping right now, so I felt like this was my best opportunity and best time to try to record such a video. Let's go French again. I've been playing a lot of Valkyne lately. Don't exchange on me, bro. Alright, good. I'm going to exchange on you. Sorry about it. Bishop d3. Wow, this is some stuff. I don't know what the correct move is here. Let's go here. He wants to check on b5 is his idea. Is it extraordinarily slow for me to go a6? I'm just going to try it. I don't know what the hell else to play. Taking on d4 maybe was worth considering. Probably not. What am I doing here? Freaking Rubinstein, man. He's confused too. What could this handle possibly mean? I'm actually going to go bishop e7, so knight f6 can't be met by this. I guess even knight f6 right away, bishop g5, I can still take on e4 perhaps. Takes on d8. Yeah, it's not worth thinking about. If he takes on c5, of course, trying to exploit the fact that I just moved my bishop, then knight takes and I'll nab this guy. So I'm under a little bit of pressure here, but okay, let's take on d4. So you're saying I can't castle then? Okay, let's go h6. I obviously can't take here yet, but I'm thinking about it. Now castles allows bishop takes h6. I have to think about if I care about that. I might. Knight d4, I'm thinking I'm going to go queen a5. Hitting the bishop and also getting ready for castles, takes, queen takes, and then queen swings all the way over to h5 to defend. That seems like it would be completely satisfactory for me. Rubinstein is all about not like getting terrible or losing positions in the first, 20 moves. You have to play, I think, a little bit precisely than in other openings. Whoa, partner. Can I castle? Does that like lose immediately? Not immediately, but it might lose. I'm going to go queen a5 first. I'm not sure what the... I mean, does he want to take with the d-pawn? I guess that's the only thing I can think of. He wants to keep his knight over on the king side. I think he really wishes that this rook was on d1 or that this rook was on e1. I feel like white really wants his rook on this square at this exact moment for reinforcements. It's a little awkward to lift this rook through this bishop on d3. Okay, so I have to find a square. I can go queen h5. I would imagine he would just take and then probably knight e5. That'd be like a little uncomfortable. Queen d5, rook a to c1. Okay, I'm just gonna go queen d5. Rook a to c1, looking to go bishop c4. Maybe I'll just go b5, then I can go bishop b7. If white gives me like 2 moves for free, I think I'll be in good shape. I remember actually seeing this queen e2 bishop d3 idea without knight f3 in the Rubinstein book that I have, but I don't remember what I should play. It's so rare that it was one of those things where I was like, no one's ever going to play this. Don't be stupid, Tony, and then of course someone did in fact play it. Okay. He's threatening bishop h6, I guess. Maybe he wasn't. I don't even know. Okay, I'm just gonna go back. Queen g3. Whoa. If queen g3. A2 might be hanging in the very, very distant future. I love how we're playing a 3+2 game, and my opponent and I both have no idea what the heck we're doing, and so we have like tens of seconds on before move 20. It's like moderately embarrassing, but whatever. Okay, let's use this rook. Okay, I don't have enough time to really be thinking as much as I am. Oops. We're cool. We're cool. I'm just gonna take these things. Oh, I can't. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Well, I nabbed the 2 bishops for free. Or mostly for free. Feel pretty good about that. Don't really want to trade them. Name of the game is all about improving your stuff. I'm just trying to improve my stuff. I'll keep the bishop. If he wants to give up a pawn, he can go into an opposite colored bishop's ending. I don't think he does, though. Let's go b4. Yeah, I'll take with the bishop. Oh, I'm winning a piece. Wah wah. Yeah. I would take a rematch with this guy in general, but I don't have time for that right now. I'm a man on a mission. I'm running the gauntlet. Have I won all the games? I feel like I've been playing like absolute crap. ZZ3000. I just in general have a little bit less time for chess lately because we've been working overtime at my job and you scumbag. It's just been a little bit hectic with work, and I just got a dog, and he takes up a lot of my time, obviously. And so it's one of these things where I've just haven't been playing as much chess, and it has definitely affected my quality of play. That's for sure. I don't know if I never play these exchange queen's gambit structures. I don't know if I'm supposed to go a5 or not. But we're doing it. I know like rook e8 is a pretty thematic move. Let's do that. I think if he goes b4, I'm going to take and then play b5 myself. With the idea of putting my knight on c4. And now b4 is maybe, you know, very, very slightly weak. Where is that thing going? Oh, I guess he just wants a c-file. I'm okay with that. How do I best protect that pawn for the time being? Maybe here? I also have the a-file that I wouldn't mind making use of. Knight e4 is possible. Yeah. I picked queen c7 instead of queen d6 for this reason. Maybe I can go knight h5. Okay, not giving me much choice. All right. This is kind of a risky capture, but I'm going to try it. My idea is that I want this d5 square for my knight. He's like one move behind on being able to play e4 and take over the d5 square. Yeah, see, now I'm kind of getting in with rook a4 next, if he goes something that protects the pawn. If I get to take on b4, then my knight gets to d3. He does have a big center, but I'm going to have this swath of queenside pawns that, at least to me, feels slightly more relevant at the moment. Should I play this simplifying sack? Probably not. That was a good move, though. Maybe I should. Problem is, if I don't do that, he has knight c5. That's a pretty good square for his knight. This is a depressing development. I could have contemplated knight b4 there and just go down the exchange with a knight on d3. And my pawns. That might have actually been better. Okay. I'm going to go here, stopping e4 and getting ready for queen a7. He might be wise to go rook a1 at the moment. While he... rook a1 probably goes into a pretty bad queen ending, though. So I'm going to try and funnel my heavy pieces in through the A file. Yeah, you can see what an effect on the lack of time has had on my quicker ratings. I'm just like, I don't have the chess sense that I usually have, and I'm just not playing that well. Okay. Let's do this. That's a good move. Didn't see that. Okay, I'm going to play h5 and try and continue, but I don't know. Something like rook b3 as takes, check, king g7, queen e5, and I think he probably has a perpetual there. Maybe I had f6. Yeah, I'm not sure that's better, though. So I'm just giving my king the h7 square as a safety square before continuing on. I would like to go rook b3. Wow, that is ballsy, but maybe not bad. Oh, man. Good God, man. Guy's a crazy person. Hitting the rook e2 is an idea. He always has queen g5 to protect, I guess. My rook's better on e2 anyway, I think. Okay, he wants to go all the way back to h3. That's a much worse square, though. Let's go queen b2. Hit both of these things. I'm gonna go c3, but I'm gonna attack this d pawn first, I think. I don't see any great way for him to do anything about it. Now c2 comes with tempo. Seems good. I'm not going to waste time taking on b4. I don't think that's really all that relevant when you're making a queen. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the pool system, by the way. I think it's just a straight up improvement. I mean, if you want the old system, you can go this way, but I like having these standard time controls. These are by far, by percentage, just an absolutely massive number of, an overwhelming majority of games on Lichess are played at these time controls. They weren't selected randomly. And they span, usually bullet with increment, blitz with increment, classical with increment, etc. So, you can go custom here. You can hit create a game here. If you want to challenge a friend to like a 45 plus 45 game, you still have it. And of course, you always have the lobby over here. Oh, balls, I did it again. Okay, 5 plus 3. Apparently not very popular. Not like my rating is super high or anything. Just like I did with the, yeah, this is not the peak Lichess hours either. Just like I did with the 2 plus 1, I'm gonna pause the video for a second, and I will be back when I get a game. We did it. Okay. It was like another 15 seconds. Probably could have just wasted 15 more seconds of your guys' ear time, but... Okay, I should play something else. I played c4 on instinct. It's becoming like, a thematic English match. Much like the World Championship was a thematic Roy Lopez thematic. Okay, so castles. Takes is the best move. Yeah. You can sack a pawn with d6. That's a reasonable option. Not played very much at lower levels. People just assume it loses a pawn. Can I do this? Usually when people go a6 without going d6, it's a good idea for white to go c5 and clamp down on these. Okay, this guy's really asking for it here. b4, does he have some like weird discovery? I don't think so. I do have moderate possible problems down the long diagonal that I'll have to monitor, but I think in general this should be very, very good for white. I want to go bishop f4. I go bishop f4, he has knight h5. I also just go like something like queen d3. Yeah, I'm just gonna get my queen off out of Scary Town. And probably, I just want to go bishop f4, rook fd1. Okay, reasonable idea, just taking the structural weakness. Not optimistic about this position for black, but it was already pretty bad. He might as well, I think, give this a whirl. Trying to use the fact that got some problems along the long diagonal. Yeah, this is just a pawn, is it not? Not easy to win, of course. Pretty much the cleanest of pawns. The only one issue that I have is I really wish my pawn was on, let's say, b3 or something, but that's okay. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, threatening a2 and e2. This is really the only move that protects both. a4, queen e2 didn't seem really all that necessary, but probably also quite good. So at this point, I'm up 2 pawns. I just really need to minimize black's counterplay, play obvious moves. I'm just going to go rook fd1. I could see him trying to play like h6 and g5 here. He really needs to be able to play rook b8, so maybe he tries to give my bishop the boot. Yeah, not surprising. Again, I might have better actual moves here, like bishop d6 or really mostly anything, but I'm just gonna try and prevent all the counterplay. Okay, is this a bait? But I'm hitting his bishop at the end. Am I not? I'm gonna give this a whirl, and then if he... Okay. This is a somewhat bizarre turn of events here. I'm just gonna go bishop back to f4. Stop rook b8 still. I think my bishop has the potential to be better than his long term. What is he doing? I never know what he's doing in there. I'm gonna go rook d7, and if he wants to take on e2, I'll go bishop d6, and I'm crashing through, I think. Yeah, so he has to toss an exchange, which is fine with me. I don't know if he thought that after queen takes e2, because my bishop was on d6, he was hitting here, but this is pretty bad. He can go bishop e7. No, yeah, he can. And if takes, I can't take there because queen takes d1. And of course, taking here, the queen protects it, so I can't do that. So probably on bishop e7, I have to go back and try and think of something else. I might just play something like king g2 and try and make him find an actual move. Not so easy. Okay. All right, yeah, I'll just go back. He doesn't actually have any threat with that move. Morty is stirring. Uh-oh. I think he's trying to organize some kind of bishop g3, but it really doesn't work. Yeah, I'm just gonna put the kibosh on that. I'll take that. I don't see any real downside to doing so. I can take on a6 most likely and not get into any trouble, but I'm just going to centralize. Feels like my rook should enter on the king side somehow, or on e7. Yeah, so I'm going to go rook e4. Yeah, rook e7 he can... Rook e7 he can take on... What? Specifically played rook e4 so he could not do that. Okay, let's just go here. Why is he playing this out? Down an actual full rook. Yeah, we're just going to trade queens, do this. This is moderately insulting at this point. You know, you can do whatever you want in chess, but not resigning in positions like this is pretty rude, I think. And honestly, just a waste of time, but who am I to criticize? No, sorry. Okay, now on to the big boys. Man, 15 plus 15 after playing all these games is going to be rough. Why did I do this? I don't know how these psychopaths play in the marathon. My apologies for perhaps the lack of actual like commentary content in these games. I'm not used to commenting on these faster games. It's a little hard, and I'm no expert. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch lately too. I honestly, I can't get enough of it. It's very fun. I think it was voted Game of the Year. It's very good. If you guys like first-person shooters, you like playing like multiplayer with friends and stuff. I mean, I'm sure if that's the case, though, you've already heard of it. So, who am I to say? Hope you guys are having a good weekend so far. I spent my Friday night watching a documentary on the restoration of a Leonardo da Vinci painting. Yeah. Yeah, that's a real thing that I did. Virgin and Child with Saint Anne. Very exciting. Again, finding a classical game on the internet is rough. Oh, we did it. Ooh, this guy is really high rated. Good luck and have fun, man. 10-0 battles. Shout out to Night Moves. I don't know if this is someone that I know from my YouTube channel already or what, but he watches a lot of my games, so shout out to this guy. And I'm looking forward to spoiling this 2400 rating. The last time I crossed 2400, I was immediately ejected by a loss. I have no doubt that will happen again pretty soon. I am not particularly deserving of the 2400 rating. We're still in theory here, which is surprising because most of my opponents deviate quite early when I play the Rubinstein. C3. I don't know anything about that move. Usual would be just taking on D4. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. I'll just go bishop e7. I don't think I have very many problems here. C3 is not a particularly aggressive move, I think. It is useful, just bolstering the d4 square and maybe looking to go queen c2, queen b3, queen a4, whatever. I think if white's not careful, I'm going to get an e5, though. Six. I mean, in general, I'm pretty happy to go into this endgame. Should I not be? What am I missing here? We got a real barn burner on our hands. Shout out to the Rubenstein. Let's just go rook h to d8, I think. Do I want to go e5 immediately for some reason? Rook h to e1 would be very natural. King f6. I don't know. That feels a little risky. Maybe I should just... Yeah, I think I'm just going to go rook h to d8. Rook h to e1. Okay, I'm just going to play another obvious move. Not sure it's the best move. Other moves worth considering. King f6. Whoa. Ugh. You know what I mean. King f6. Maybe knight c5. Maybe knight b6, actually. Looking to get into one of these squares. Okay, so I have to deal with the threat of f5. Do I even, though? I mean, f5 is always met by... Always met by e5, I think. As long as this knight is here. That is the case. Maybe just king f6. I mean, there are all these, like, awkward knight f5 ideas anyway. Maybe I should just... Sorry, I'm just trying to think here. g6, g4. Is it worth inserting that first and then king f6? I think somehow I'd be happier without those moves. I don't have a great reason why. I do wish I was maybe a little bit more careful on the last move. Perhaps I should have played something else. Like, instead of rook a to c8, maybe I could have played g5, or I could have played king f6, or whatever, but whatever. Okay, I'm just going to go king f6. I'd like to set up g6, h5 if allowed. I think if he plays like some lame move like king c2 or whatever, I'll probably go h5. Maybe that allows perhaps this. Yeah. So he rightfully goes g4, I think. I'm gonna go g6 anyway. I think if he goes, yeah, and he goes h4. Should I play h5 or should I leave it? So if I go h5, he takes. f5 dangerous. Doesn't feel like it. He goes h5 takes, rook g1, rook g8. My knight on d7 is hanging. But not really, because there's always rook g1 threats. Okay, I'm gonna go h5, I think. One nice thing about if he takes is that maybe my knight can go to g6. So like if he takes and I take back, knight f8 to g6 is actually a pretty useful maneuver. Targeting both of these weak pawns at one time. My knight is... I'm having an actually hard time finding good squares for the piece as is. Okay, so king e7 is the move that I really want to play, but I think he can play f5. Pretty confident I have to go to g7. Yeah, not even a real decision. f5 is just completely crushing there. Yeah, this knight needs to go to a useful square. I want to go knight e7. So I'm trying to figure out, does knight b6 lose a pawn to rook e6? F e6, knight e6, and is the idea with a fork. And after rook e6, he's also threatening rook b6. So I can't actually go, I think. Can't go knight b6. Knight b6, rook e6. Maybe I have rook d4 there, though. Rook d4, f e4. F e6, I mean. No, then I'm just out of a piece. So he has to go rook b6. And at least rook d2. And then... no, I think I have to take on f4 or else I'm down a pawn. So the critical line is knight b6, rook e6, rook d4, rook b6, rook f4, rook b7, rook h4. Oh my god. I don't know. Okay, it doesn't look losing for me though, and I think I need my knight to go to the d5 square, so... I don't think on c4 or on c5 it actually does anything. On c5 it still doesn't really have a future. I don't know where it's going. So I think this is the way. And yeah, let's just go knight d5 as planned. I should maybe now consider putting my king on e7. Maybe doubling rooks. Oh, he has f5, doesn't he? He didn't see it. Mortish. Oh, he's also very slick. I didn't think about that at all. I almost have attacked it with rook c3, but it doesn't work. Oh dear. Okay, I'm gonna go king f8. I just want to put my king on e7. Wow, I don't have any time. This guy's gonna flag me. I also have knight e... yeah, see, no, I don't have any of these moves because my rook on d8 is hanging. The problem is I can't go knight f4 because of knight e6. Oh, no, knight f5, yeah. Knight e6, there was... Oh, no. Okay. Well, not much of a choice. I have to take here, and I'll have to deal with this knight e4, knight f5 nonsense, I mean. I have this. And takes on d2, takes, rook d7. Oh, God. Okay, I don't think I have much choice but to go into this, so we're going to do it. Oops, just punch my pop filter. Man, 10 plus 0. Not as easy as 15 plus 5. I remember why I started putting increment on my games. Uh-huh. Yeah, so now the question is, do I go... Okay, I'm going to just try this. I'm going to go rook c4. and go the slightly more aggressive route here. I'm a little bit surprised that he... Okay, g6 is kind of a threat, so let's go here. I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't go after my b pawn instead. Like, in this position, why not rook d7? But maybe he was scared of this guy. Rook d7, maybe he just thought rook h4, rook b7, f4 or something, and... he has that anyway. You son of a gun. Alright. You sly dog, you. I don't know. b6, maybe? I think I'm going to go king e6, f5, etc. Start getting the f-pawn going, but I just want to cut off his king first. If I can. I guess he can go king c2 here. Of course, rook h6, f6. Obviously need to start playing very fast. Oh, man. Man, I'm really tired. That's the other thing that's really affecting my chess. It is like just becoming extremely hard for me to, like, I do not get enough sleep. And it's just, yeah, with a dog now especially, I have to wake up early to let him out, and I get up for work at 5:30. By the time I get home, I'm just friggin' wrecked. I think just like a5 here is... What do? I take, he takes, and... I think he needed to break. He needed to break somehow and start to trade off the pawns. My rook is doing a pretty good job of, yes, c5 maybe, rook c6, I guess. Maybe rook e6 there was better. Yeah, probably was indeed the case. I would presume this guy's just going to flag me. I might still be winning, I just don't have any time. Yeah. This was obviously the idea behind rook e6. So to meet c5 with takes, rook e5. Now I get to protect my pawn again. His king is still cut off, and I can try and slowly shimmy my king down the board however I have to play f5, f4, etc. So if he puts his rook on f7, okay, so I'm just, probably rook g3, or king g3 rather. So we're just going to keep this thing moving. Check, king f2, now I have f3. He's going to win the a-pawn, but I think my pawn is pretty fast. Oops. Can probably salvage or draw in 5 seconds. Yeah, all right, I'm just gonna take this thing. Bummer. All right, well, that one will be interesting to look at. I think I probably will look at the classical games real quick, but probably not the blitz games or the bullet games. Those are games I probably don't want to look at for my self-esteem, at least. Oh, that was quick. Feels good, man. 34. All right, let's switch it up. I'll go back to knight f3. Good luck, feels good, man. A Norwegian who's only played classical games. Not in love with this. Okay. Provisional only classical. Yeah. I'm not saying he's a cheater. I'm saying I don't like taking the risk, but we'll see, you know. We'll see. I'm kind of timing his moves here a little bit. It's weird to me when people take this long in the opening. Like you've never seen the King's Indian attack before or the Reti before. So I'm going into a reverse Benoni here, and this is an interesting case, I think, in these reversed openings because it's a modern Benoni, a tempo up, and he's played e6 instead of being able to play e5 in one go. So I've sort of got him two ways here. And I'll go d3. I think if e5, I can go b4. And if knight b4, then knight e5. And if bishop b4, there's knight e5, knight e5, queen a4 check, knight c6, bishop takes c6, b takes c6, queen b4, and I'm better there. So and okay, so he goes bishop d6 instead. I think bishop g5 is the move. Usually in all of the Benonis, as black, your light squared bishop is kind of hard to get rid of. And in the reverse Benoni, this c1 bishop can be kind of an issue. So it doesn't hurt to just get rid of it. I think this is a theoretical position, and now black is supposed to go either queen d8 or queen e7. You're not supposed to allow knight e4, I don't think. Both moves make some sense. Queen e7 I think is a bit more natural, but queen d8 I think has been played. Don't take my word 100% on that. It's a problem with being on video. If you say something dumb, you know, you show up on Twitter in like a 5-second clip. Anton. By the way, if you guys aren't following Anton Squared Me on Twitter, you should be following Anton Squared Me on Twitter. He's got a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. Keeps getting better. So what do? The problem here is that I think the insertion of a3 and a5 helps black. Issue being is once you trade off this bishop on c1, after a3, a5, it's hard to go... It's basically impossible to go b4, and trying to prepare b4, you need to go b3 so you don't allow a4 from black, and if you go b3, then a3 is hanging because you don't have this bishop on c1. And so it's almost like b4 is just completely out of commission here, and white needs something else. What the hell that is, I'm not totally sure. Whoops. Makes me think that maybe I should be looking to the king side somehow. Or first trying to go c5. And only then, after I get c5 in somehow, only then going... trying to go b4. But how do I do that? I don't actually have any great ideas. Knight e4, bishop c7. I'm a little bit worried that after that f5 will come very quickly. There is knight e4, bishop c7, c5. Knight e4, bishop c7, c5. Then if f5, what am I doing? Losing a pawn? Knight e4 though, queen c5. I mean, f5 is, before you've castled, and just in general, is extremely weakening. So I'm just thinking about, and black is already pretty far behind in development, so I'm just thinking about knight e4, bishop c7, c5, f5 as a sack of some kind. Just like maybe a pawn sack. Or even more. I guess even there, so knight e4, bishop c7, c5, bishop c... knight e4, bishop c7, c5. f5, there's knight h4. And if f takes e4, knight g6. Or even queen h5 check, queen f7. So that's worth considering, actually. Knight e4 is a natural move anyway. I think I'm going to play it. I say that after I've already played it. So the critical question is whether or not I can get away with this pawn sack c5. Probably I can. I played this line with black. This might seem like a somewhat obscure line to know with bishop g5, h6 takes, queen e7, etc. But I played this line with e6 and d4 as black, and I've researched it a bit. Bishop b8 seems like an odd square. Why go there instead of c7? I don't know. I'm going to go c5, though. I dare you to play f5. I will go. I think I'll probably go knight h4. But I can also just go knight e to d2 takes, maybe rook c1, wherever he moves his queen, then go knight h4. I don't have to commit to knight h4 right away, but I think I think with the queen on still on e7, it makes sense to go knight h4 immediately. So he doesn't want to mess around with that. Probably the correct decision. Now I have time to protect the c-pawn if I want to, though. Just rook c1. I think probably just rook c1. Again, a3, a5, and I'm not sure. I do want to get in b4 somehow, b5, but I don't know how I do that yet. I can, yeah, I actually could have considered it on this move because b4, knight d4. That might have actually been my last opportunity since now he can go e5. And I don't have enough time. That is pretty irritating. Maybe it's not that good. So he's just going a5 immediately. Interesting. Well, that settles that. Sorry, my beard's itching. I want to go knight fd2, but I'm not sure. f5. I'm forced, I think, to go knight d6. Takes. Knight c4, maybe. Queen c7. I don't know if I have enough compensation there. Maybe just rook e1. Yeah, I'm just gonna go rook e1. I don't know if I can sack the pawn yet. I'm not sure if that's actually good. It might be. It feels like it's probably good, but I just don't have the stones to do it. Oh, wow. Okay. That might actually help me a little bit. Rook c4. Let's try that. Hitting here and here at the same time, hopefully. And maybe now, maybe now b4, a takes, and then I'm ready for b4 again. And if he goes a3, just trying to offload a pawn, I can just go b4 right away. And then d4. Maybe a3, b4, e5 is interesting. I don't know. That's really one of the upsides and downsides to the Benoni is usually when you're playing over the board and you're not like sitting at home with ChessBase and with a computer and all this stuff, the evaluation is always, I'm not quite sure. But you still play anyway. I that's kind of been my experience with OTB chess in general, is that that's usually my feeling while I'm playing is I'm not sure who's better, but I'm going to just continue to try and find the best move over and over again. And So I can go knight d6, bishop takes d6, c takes d6, queen takes d6, rook a4, rook a4, queen a4. e5. And maybe knight d2 in that position. Seems like I should be okay. Knight e to d2, is that any better? Get my mouse cursor off this knight. It's distracting me. If I go knight e to d2. Now it feels kind of like I have to go in here. Interesting position. Man, I'm tired. I kind of hope this guy beats me just so I can see what his provisional rating is going to fly up to. No, I don't hope he beats me. I'm just kidding. Feels like he's pretty much forced to take. I don't think you can leave that knight sitting on d6 for too long. Excuse me. Hope I woke up the dog. My bad, my bad. Go back to sleep, baby. At least for another half hour or so. By the way, who else is watching Westworld? That show's crazy, man. Also, it's hilarious to me. I found out maybe 2 or 3 episodes in that I think it was based on either an older movie by Michael Crichton. It was either written or probably written. The screenplay was written by Michael Crichton. It's just hilarious how often Michael Crichton uses the same, like, oh, technology, rapid progression of technology is really dangerous, and like sort of the managers of event or attraction or, you know, whatever X lose control of attraction X. It's kind of funny almost how often it pops up. Okay, that's a better move than taking on a4, which is what I thought. So now if knight d2 takes. I think this should be okay. I'm leaving the tension between these two things because I feel like taking here is beneficial to him, and him taking here is beneficial to me. So we'll have this little fight over who can maintain the tension the longest, I think. But I want to put my knight on c4 anyway. And I don't think going b5 to stop that is a particularly great idea. I could be wrong. Okay, I guess I'm wrong. Okay, not much of a choice. I want to put my knight on this square now. A2 is hanging, of course. Okay, I'll just go a3 lazily. If he goes b4, I get to flick in knight c4 first. I'm trying to figure out some way to enforce this endgame where I get a knight on. That's not even good now, I think. I'm thinking about some kind of positional scheme that involves bishop takes c6, f4, and then putting this knight on e5 somehow. It would be good if I didn't get checkmated on g2 and in all of those positions, or h1. I think the light squares are too weak in this position to go for that. Okay, interesting. Of queen h5, just maybe e5 even. Yeah, I still want to go knight c5. I just don't see it. Don't see how I actually make that happen. Maybe queen h5, e5, h4. Ah, he has bishop e8. Maybe queen f3 though, there. With queen h5, king g7. Kind of works out. So I'm looking at queen h5, king g7, h4. Bishop e8 there. Go queen e2. Hitting e6. And if takes, queen e6 check, queen e6 check, rook e6, and I'm hitting this knight. And it's pinned. Queen h5, e5. If queen h5, king h7. Maybe knight f3, threatening knight g5. I can probably still go h4. I'm going to try this. I don't know. We'll give it a whirl. I also wonder if e5, if I can just go queen f3 immediately and try and trade off the queens with queen d5 check. White's structure is very compact. I feel like black needs to be a little bit more careful about, you know, all of his pawns are very kind of loose and very far advanced. I need to find some way to probe for weaknesses here. So let's try this. Of course, taking here would just be, I think, a massive positional concession. Bishop e8, queen e2. You can just go bishop f7 maybe. Takes. Maybe I go knight f3. Yeah, it's interesting. Tough position. Always unclear in the Benoni. Try not to fall asleep, and also try not to fall too far behind on time. Feels good, man. What'd you guys think about the World Championship? I thought Carlsen was probably not in his greatest form, but man, that mate at the end, queen h6. What a beaut. What a beaut. Crap, my fiance's calling me. What do I do? Priorities. I'm playing chess. Oh, now she woke up the dog. It's all going to hell in a handbasket. Oy vey. Okay, let me text her and tell her I'm recording so she doesn't hate me. This is why if you want to get like really good at chess, you just don't get married, don't have like a very serious girlfriend. Oh shit, I didn't even think about this. Oh my god, what am I doing? I'm just lost. I'm dead lost. I can't. Unbelievable. What an idiot. G4, just straight out trapping my queen. I have no response to to bishop e8. Do I? I don't think I do. Wow, that is friggin' rude. Tony, you big dumb idiot. 94 is like literally just, I'm just trying to find a threat here. Bishop c6. Man, this is the feel-bads. I don't know why I didn't think of this. I mean, it's literally like, should be the first candidate move. G4. Oh, what a butthead. Okay. Well. Oy, oy, oy. I almost have to play knight e4 just as just to make a move here. But he can just play like queen e7. I don't actually even have a real threat. Okay, well, I'll play knight e4. How atrocious. I'm embarrassed. I've come too far. I've come too far to blunder now. I'm not in good chess shape lately. I don't have any, okay, work, lack of sleep, whatever, but when you sit down at a chessboard, you should still give your all. For whatever reason, I'm just not playing that great lately. I lost a game, and I think I drew 2 games in the 8 or 9 rounds of the 45 league, 45 plus 45 league. I mean, plus, I don't know, what is it? Plus 5 equals 2 minus 1 is a good score, but I think I could have done better. And my blitz rating has just gone from like regularly over 2,300, 23, pushing 2,400 to 2,150 or something gross. Yeah, it's just not good. I can go back to d2 now, and if bishop e8, then I can go queen f5, ef, rook takes, knight takes, bishop a8. It's kind of humorous. The problem is he just moves like his rook or something, and I don't have a move again. I almost just want to play that move just to have a sense of humor about this game. I'm going to do it. Queen f5 coming in hot. I mean, I guess I also sort of have the threat of bishop c6, queen f5. Like if he just decides to play rook a to c8, I can just take, and queen f5. It's kind of funny. So I'm sort of making a mess of it, but I'm sure I'm still losing somehow. Stupid queen on h5. He just has to not fall for the threat somehow. I don't know, even let's say queen f6 or something. I think queen f6 is probably good enough. Is there bishop c6 or anything? No. Yeah, I don't know why. I started looking at all the forcing candidates after queen h5, king g7, and I never looked at just the simple h4, g4. I got so caught up in all of like the tactical lines that I just I didn't go back to that position and consider other candidate moves. Let that be a lesson to all of you guys. Because sometimes that happens to me. That used to plague my chess a lot more, actually. I used to analyze, like, look at a move, say, okay, I'm going to look at queen h5, and then I would just analyze a little bit and make the move without considering, like, all of black's responses, and it used to really be a big part of my chess and why I was stuck at sort of a level, like, let's say, I don't know, 1600, 1700, 1800, whatever. That was a big thing, and then I sort of started doing a much better job after watching how stronger players calculate, but every once in a while I'll make some kind of a mistake like that. So rook f8. Unpinning and also taking away the queen f5 option. So do I have anything here? Probably not. No. Okay. I'm just gonna resign. That game was rough. All right, let's just go to the analysis board and see what there is to see here real quick. This is all usual stuff. E3, knight c6, takes, d3, bishop d6. Knight a3 scores better here. Is there any specific reason? Castles, knight c2, I would imagine. e5. Aha, and then b4 immediately, because e5 is loose. Okay, a6 is the top move. I mean, this is a typical Benoni position. I guess white can't be. White has to be at least equal if usually in the Benoni, if black gets in b5, or in the reverse Benoni, if white gets in b4, it should be in relatively reasonable shape. Yeah, like I said, I've seen this position before. Oh, novelty, knight e4. It's an interesting idea, c5. My idea was f5, knight h4. Yeah, what happens after castles? Knight g6, queen f7, takes. I guess I can take here, maybe? Desperado. Takes. What is this like? I have a rook and something. I have a rook and 2 pawns for the minor pieces. I'm not in love with it, actually. I think black's minor pieces have a lot of potential. I have weak light squares. This knight's coming to like e5. What just happened? Oh, I accidentally hit the spacebar twice. That's funny. So knight fd2 was the move. So if knight fd2, f5, here, I looked at all this. I thought queen c7 just to make sure b6 wasn't too weak either. Yeah, f4. This is kind of similar to what I was talking about before, except... Yeah, even here, the problem is... I mean, white definitely has some compensation. This bishop is not very good. There's this knight is good. There's this play along the c file. e5 is kind of weak. Whatever. But yeah, I'm not certain. It seems kind of risky. f5. Yeah, and then okay, I mean, just h4 is just unbelievably bad, and queen h5 by sort of corollary. If I can't go, if the idea is to go queen e2 immediately, and I'm just gonna give black king g7 for free, I just shouldn't go queen h5 in the first place. I should just find some other move here. Now h4 right away, that's interesting. is the idea now queen h5? Yeah, and the problem is like you can't really take here because of queen g6 is just completely devastating. And if h4, then what? Maybe knight b3. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. It always pays when I've said this before on my channel. I don't, this is a sort of a do as I say, not as I do, because obviously I bungled this game up pretty bad. But if if ever you're kind of looking at these tactics and for whatever reason it doesn't work, try inverting the move order. And a lot of times that works. It's just like a calculation trick that you pick up as you kind of go through chess. You learn, you do enough tactics that for the wrong move order, and you realize, oh god, I saw the idea, I saw the themes, but I just needed to switch the move order somehow. And this is a good example. h4 takes queen h5 instead of queen h5, king g7, h4. I do notice that Stockfish was suggesting this really interesting move, though. It makes a hell of a lot of sense now that I look at it. Of course, f4 is like complete positional suicide. Now I get knight e4, all the light squares are weak. This diagonal is open, etc. But what if he does nothing? Like, just say it goes king g7. I don't understand queen b3. It keeps suggesting queen b3 as a move. I don't really get it. I mean, it does threaten the b pawn, but worth considering. g4. I didn't really think about that. Okay, yeah, I'm just losing after this. My queen is just hopelessly trapped. That is the feel bads. But this is an interesting new idea, I think, even. Sometimes over the board you find some inspiration. I think this plan makes a lot of sense because a3 and b4 is just so impossible to... In the critical moment, probably I had to go just play a little bit more energetically with knight f to d2 and go into this. Maybe rook e1 here instead. Yeah. Yeah, tough. I mean, I feel like maybe I had very tiny edge throughout out of the opening. Not much at all. Maybe it's just equal and I'm being optimistic, and then all it takes is one tactical mistake and then you're lost. Okay, let's look at this 10-0 game real quick. Because I feel, well, this is going to make me sad, I think, because at some point I think I was just winning. Takes, c5, c3, takes, knight takes, bishop e7. Okay, so we got here. I don't think bishop b5 is very good. Of course, I'm pretty happy to trade off these pieces. I mean, white. Let's be honest here. This is an equal endgame, so white has already done something wrong, and I think a lot of it stems from this operation of bishop b5 check. I'm very happy to trade off the light squared bishop, and I mean, lopping off everything else certainly doesn't serve white all that well. But yeah, maybe here I should try to play something else, like even h5, f4, king here, and now he can't go g4. That's worth considering, because rook a to c8 doesn't end up, I don't think, being all that helpful. It was probably better to try and use that move somewhere else. Yeah, and like I said, if here, f5, takes, here. I thought knight g3, but knight d6 also looks pretty crushing. Yeah, and I was a little bit worried at first about this, because if takes, check, I'm losing. There's knight c4 too. But I thought about this. Takes. And if rook d7, I'm just in time to go rook f4 and the h-pawn. And of course here, then knight f5 picks up the... And I think this... So probably f4 is just a mistake, because after this I end up going into an endgame where I'm just up a pawn. I thought he should go rook d7 here. I don't know. I guess this is pretty winning though. I was thinking that maybe this a pawn would be scary for me, but maybe not. But even here, it almost ends up. I feel like it ends up being winning here at some point again. Like I started to feel like this position was probably just winning for me, or really close to it. Like, yeah, I think the c5 plan is good, and I think I kind of screw up here somewhere. Like maybe rook e6. And now I'm in time to stop c5, perhaps. If I go for it again, there's just similar. Yeah. It's the same position. This was obviously winning somehow. I thought about this move actually, and I just didn't play it. I thought this was winning too, but it just so happens that his king gets there one move in time. It was just a small miscalculation on my part, and I bungled it. It's kind of annoying. But, you know, what can you do? Live and learn. I had almost no time, honestly, at that point. I had like 5 seconds. I was desperately happy to take the draw. But okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this running the gauntlet. Something a little bit different, a little bit fun. Morty's harassing me. A little bit different. You get to see how crappy I play at shorter time controls. Try out the pools. You know, they've been out for less than 24 hours. Feedback is welcome. Comments, criticisms, compliments. I always take those. Let us know. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye-bye.